It is time for another edition of Litter Media Live, a special edition for you, and we enjoy these conversations because they've happened every year now since 2016, with you and I, radio included in this, but we've been doing this since
17.
Yes. 17 and 18. So here we are to talk about Southern Ohio Forest Rally, and he's the guy, race director and coordinator, and whatever else he has to wear to put on this big rally race. Speaking of Jeremiah Johnson, we'll talk with Jeremiah in just a moment right after this from our friends at Classic Brands. What is that? Now, while we have the sponsor of Classic Brands, remember, don't drink and drive when you're in a rally race. Or anytime.
Anytime, especially when you're competing.
Yes. Competing, I gave a presentation last week to Circleville Elementary, fourth graders, and I used a Southern Ohio Forest Rally video that I had shot, and I showed the kids how fast these cars go on the trails of the forests, and they were like, wow. None of them had heard of the Southern Ohio Forest Rally.
Oh, the struggle's real.
We were tapping into a new audience for you.
That is appreciated. Zane Trace School used to actually have a couple drivers come when I was in elementary, back when it was the Sunriser. Yeah. And I thought that was really neat way to get it out. But every year we have people come to the park, the Octangie Park, and they say, oh my gosh, I wish we'd have known. I talked to the Chillicothe Gazette a week or two weeks ago, Pineapple Awards Week. And they've helped us being on the front page of the paper. We've been on Fox News. We've done your show multiple times. We've paid for Facebook ads. We've done the billboards. We're on a syndicated show that went to 30 different regions, radio space.
And you have like Subaru.
And we have Subaru doing awesome content. And it's really difficult to get in front of everybody, right? I mean, we can't afford to mail everybody in Ross County. I think it's like 80,000 residents. That's stamps are what, $6 a piece now? Sorry, Postal Service. I love you. But anyhow, yes, it is a challenge. So anything to do to spread the word, we appreciate.
Yeah. And you had the perfect guests at the Pineapple Awards sitting there with Shelby. She's right next to you. So you've got the Gazette's ear at that point in time. And then he won the Grand Pineapple Award. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. By the way, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
When we talk about the Southern Ohio Forest Rally, it takes a lot of volunteers to make this happen. And those who have watched it have enjoyed the racing portion, the exposés of being able to go up and see the cars, talk with the drivers and co-drivers. But what's the most difficult thing? Manning volunteers?
I think there's a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff that goes into it that really starts about June, the end of June, that we start preparing, right? Little things, all the meetings and stuff like that. Those are all fairly simple, right?
And that's really for the next one.
For the next one, yeah. So we really plan all year long. It's not a couple weeks before a thing, right? Fortunately, we have a great relationship with the forestry department, and working through some of the challenges of just logistics, right? To make sure everybody knows what's going on. There's the ambulances, law enforcement, cities, council, all of the things. And then it comes down to volunteers, because without the volunteers, we don't have the event, right? And ideally, I mean, we would like to be around 250 volunteers. It does take an army, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of times people say, well, outside of watching racing, which is cool, why should we help? Why should we, where's the money go? Where's the, what's the impact? And we did a study last year, and it was around $2.5 million that we were able to track back to the local economy. And if that doesn't say a whole lot about volunteering a couple of days watching racing, I think, I don't know what will, right? Yeah. That's a lot for the local, economy, especially where we live. Mm-hmm. So volunteers is definitely that's something that keeps me up at night, to be honest.
Well, and it's something that I think some people are kind of questioning, what do I do as a volunteer for a race like this? But you've got several miles of roadway that need to be witnessed by volunteers. Yeah. You've got spectators who are going into the forests, and you need people to help direct and guide them as well.
Yeah, I mean, usually, I would say 80% of the volunteers are simply marshaling, standing at a horseback trail, mountain bike trail, intersecting road. And then, we're not going to put a inexperienced volunteer to manage a crowd of 1,000 people at a spectator spot, right? It could be starting cars, working the finish, and even if people are green and they're a little bit nervous about it, we have plenty of people that would love to help train them. Mm-hmm. And we did do what we called the SOFR School. We did that the last couple of years, and we had really good, attendance. We had people come in from, I think, like 3 states away. We just weren't able to fit it in the schedule this year, and it's unfortunate because there's a lot of value in it. But we try to teach some of the things to take that, or add that education piece to it.
Yeah. Biggest thing for me is snake repellent.
That's a real thing.
If you're working in the woods, yeah.
Yeah, there's actually a road that we cannot run on due to rattlesnakes. They have dens all up and down the road. It's which I'm fine with that. I'm not a rattlesnake fan. So
I don't know too many who are. So unless you're in Arizona and a baseball fan, let's touch on some of the particulars. Like when this all starts, we're going to see rally cars coming in before the competition begins because these guys like to show up early.
So we actually have some private testing starting on Tuesday, the week of the rally, so the 10th. We have our media day testing on the 11th, and then the official event starts the 12th. So they will start coming in the weekend before. A lot of the bigger teams that need to prepare and plan things like that, they'll be coming in, like I said, the prior weekend, and we're basically all week, right? There's cars be rolling around all week long.
Yeah, and they'll be visiting our restaurants.
Oh, 100%, yep.
Shopping and everything, too.
So, ironically, Patrick's Pub has become like this.
It's the hub.
It's the hub. Like, they love that. And they make they think Roosters only exist in Chillicothe. Like, so it's Roosters, Chillicothe, and Patrick's Pub is, two of the big
Pat
things.
McAllister should be happy.
I think Pat's fine.
He is.
Actually, speaking of Pat McAllister, we... when I started to try to put this together in 2016, I got a lot of deaf ears. People were like, "You're going to do what? And you're bringing in how many people?" And I was younger. I didn't know really who to approach or how to. So I thought, you know what? Pat was around, and he helped support the rally back then. Yeah. And I was like, I'll just go to Pat. So I walked in the office, and he was free, and he said, "Yeah, we'll help you." Next day, I got a lot of phone calls.
Yeah,
and we kicked butt the first year, and we've been trying ever since. But anyhow, it was pretty cool to, to get the support from the community like that.
I remember, while we were talking, I remember you coming into the radio studio back in 2016, and I think Brent Short was with you at the time. You both came in with these looks on their faces as if. We don't know what we're doing, but we're going to try and make this happen.
That was it.
And now to see you've got 9 years experience behind you and walking in with such confidence, but I know deep down inside you're remembering what it was like to start this.
Oh, very much so, because again, it's not one person, right? Yeah. It takes a massive team, and without the core group of people, I mean, it's not me. There's no Jeremiah doing it all. Like I really would struggle a lot without those folks. So. And the community support. Like I pick on, the mayor all the time. Sorry, Luke. Everything's his fault, right? Yeah. We've established that. I think everything's Luke's fault.
You take that when you run for election.
Exactly. But the city's been supportive. The county, we had to explain it, right? And when the city safety director was a state highway patrolman, and you tell him you're gonna run cars extremely fast in the city park, he's like, "Hold on, let's talk about that." But again, they looked past the, they didn't judge the book by the cover, so to speak. So we're again very grateful for all the communities that support it.
Yeah. You usually have about 70, 75 competitors. Is that still the same case?
So right now, Oregon Trail just finished this weekend. A lot of people will wait to enter after that to make sure that they are still good to compete. I think right now we're I didn't look this morning because it changes every night, but we're actually just under 60, so a little bit lower than what we usually are. And I think some of that is just, the time frame and the other event. And I think some of it's the economy. I think some people are just not sure, and spending thousands of dollars to go racing for a weekend might not make sense.
Right. And the American Rally Association is the sanctioning body of all this, and you've got them in Washington State. You've got them in New Hampshire and running all over the country to do this. But a lot of them like to come to Chillicothe.
They do. We've heard a ton of good feedback, and it's kind of funny because I know that a lot of locals don't see it, but it's the hospitality. And I know that sounds silly, but they're like, yeah, we went to the gas station and everybody was so nice. They treated us so great. And that's not the case in every event. Some towns aren't happy that the rally's there, or, different things. And we try to let the local places know that we're coming. It's just really hard because, again, hey, we're going to do a rally. And last time I said that to somebody, like, oh, you a Republican or Democrat? And I was like, no, not that one. I think I've even made that joke before. It's like, no, car rally. Like, oh, yeah, no idea. Deer in a headlight. Yeah. Right? Kind of like us going into the WKKJ for the first time. Like,
right. Now, I can tell you that my son, when he worked in the auto parts industry, one particular year had someone coming looking for a part. He got that for them. Next thing you know, all these racers are coming into the auto parts where awesome. He was working because somebody knew somebody that somebody knew somebody, and word got around. Yeah. And that's how this thing works.
Yeah, it is. A lot of it's all word of mouth, right? I get phone calls, and they'll say, like, hey, do you know somebody that could rent me their garage space, right? I want to come in a week early and re-prep my car. And we facilitated that. I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name, but Ken Block's team came a week early, and somebody, he actually ended up not charging him because it was Ken Block. Yeah. He was at their shop, and they were just happy to have rally cars in their shop for a whole week, but again, it's word of mouth, a lot of it.
Yeah. You mentioned Ken Block. We lost him a couple of years ago now. It wasn't during a rally race. He was snowboarding.
Snowmobiling.
Yep. And it had taken his life. But you talk about somebody who was fun to watch race. You talk about the air he got over the hump there at Yaktanji Park. That's difficult. It's a difficult part of what you do. But a nationally known, worldwide known driver was coming here to Chillicothe and performing.
Yeah, and ironically, he was an extremely humble individual. Like you would not know that he had the success he had. And I'm fortunate enough to still kind of stay connected with the family a little bit. And they're keeping the legacy alive with their 43 Institute. They're donating money back to regional drivers. His oldest daughter, she's trucking along with Williams' F1 team. It's difficult. I mean, it's a pretty close-knit community. And again, when somebody's doing so much for the sport, I mean, his views of Chillicothe, I think over 1 million views on YouTube. Our videos that we did, couple thousand, and I'm like, wow, Ken Block's bringing some information from Chillicothe out there. But yeah, it is. It's difficult. On a very plus note, we have Bucky Lassick, which is an X-Game gold medalist skateboarder, that this is his first rally back in quite some time, and he chose Chillicothe. So we're super stoked to have him coming to the event.
One of the other big names has been Travis Pastrana over the year. Yep. Is he coming back?
He better be. They again, team, they won't register until after they re-prep, make sure the cars are good.
We'll find out Monday of the week of the race.
We'll find out. You can go to the website and see the entries, by the way, so it's hidden out there.
Which is SouthernOhioForestRally.com.
Yeah, thanks for the plug.
Yeah, we thought we'd throw that out there. For those who want to be a spectator, you've got books that will help them find where they need to go and find those spectator areas.
Yeah, spectator guides will be out, and you'll have to forgive me. We did make a couple slight changes to spectator areas. So some will be new. And unfortunately, I do the spectator guides, so I'm slow at that. I'll be honest, but I will get those out as soon as possible, and they will have all the the maps to get to where you need to go, and times and of stages and all of that. Also, on that note, that I totally didn't think about saying, we are running the City Park stage twice, so you will get two times to see the cars. That sounds good. You'll see the cars twice in the City Park on Thursday night.
Now, let me ask you this, because in previous years, we have seen you go down into the annex. We've seen a lot of the straightaway stuff on the flood wall. What are we going to see this year? Is much of that incorporated, or is it separate now?
So good question. So the annex was fun. The problem is you have to wait till the cars are back out, right? Because there's one way in, one way out. So what and this is going to change likely next year with the construction.
Right.
So we will be starting similar to where we started past years, run the backside, and definitely hit the jump. Like that's a definite need, I think. And then they'll go back around, and the fun thing is, because of timing, they're going to run up over the highway and back down Bridge Street.
Oh boy!
And I know. I'm hopeful that Thursday evening will be. We don't need police escorts, but it'll gap them out a little bit. So as they run, that way the other cars have time to run and get through there. So, and we run 30-second intervals, so it'll be very fast paced.
Good.
Yep.
Good. Unless somebody goes off the course.
Yeah.
We hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, we hope. We got the Chillicothe Fire Department, and we put them right down there in the middle of it.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned Sunriser, and the jump during the Sunriser days was coming off Enderlin Circle and going over over by north of the Armory there.
Yep.
Now it's down by where the annex ramp goes over down into the Octange Annex.
I love we're calling it a ramp. It's
Yes.
like the ramp, and everybody knows what we're talking about.
Exactly, because it's disappointing when they don't get air.
Isn't it? Everybody watching, remember that.
But the difficult thing is, this is early, and you want to last the weekend, and you don't want that first jump to be the one that's going to mess up your weekend.
So, two quick things. The Honda team of Marysville, the Honda Performance team, brought their passport out, which sounds kind of odd, but it did phenomenal. It did great. It's super cool to see a family SUV rallying, right? It's so cool.
It looks like a movie.
They launched it, and it was bad for them. It was, but they brought the heat, right? And then Mike Cessna, who's local out of Pickaway County, and Jamie Lambert, they launched it last year, and they roll through, and everybody's woo, and he's got the really cool looking BMW, got the nice graphics. He pulls in the parking lot. As soon as he shuts the motor off, oil everywhere, because they hit so hard, and he's got pretty decent suspension. So he hit and put a hole in the oil pan. Luckily, they got it fixed. His crew they stayed up and got it all done, and they were back out on Friday. But this time, Mike Cessna and Jamie Lambert send it the second time, just in case, right?
Yeah, because it's 10 seconds of fun for the crowd.
Oh, it is.
But that becomes 10 hours of frustration for a racer.
Yeah, they get to go home. They get to go home and talk about how cool it was.
Exactly. Another key element here is there's no cost involved to watch.
No, unless you want to support us and buy a shirt or hat or other stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's completely free. We'll have wits. We have, please forgive me if I get one of these wrong. I believe Our Kitchen. We have Up and Smoke, Sour Pig. I said wits, roast coffee. I think another couple, but we're trying to do like a big, food truck fanfare kind of thing so everybody can get their fix. That does cost money. Sorry. We can't pay for everybody's food.
And that will take place at Chillicothe High School?
High school, yes, sir. Okay. Yep.
Right in the student parking lot.
Right in the student parking lot. Yep.
It's the one time where the student parking lot is allowed to be pretty active.
Yeah, very active.
Anything we've missed?
I don't think so. I think we covered it. I mean, again, it's from a napkin idea and a phone call to, a multi-million-dollar economic impact. It's a little emotional. I mean, I don't want to get cheesy, but it's great. And I think, since I have a mic in front of me, I think we could all do a little better when we're helping everybody, right? Like try to come together on something, right? We don't all have to agree on everything, but we can work on something common, right? So I am very grateful for all the support, from everybody that provides it. And if you think it's stupid, you can keep that opinion to yourself. So, anyhow,
go find something else to do that
that's
weekend.
right. Go golf. Anyhow,
It's your time to leave Chillicothe and go visit someplace else. Southern Ohio Forest Rally again coming up June 12th through the 14th.
Yes, sir.
And we want you to be there. So be there or be square, as they say. Jeremiah Johnson, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it. Grand Pineapple Award winner of 2025. We'll talk to you soon on another edition of Litter Media Live.